Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to make a video about orientation. Should you get off early uh, when offered? And is getting the offer to get off orientation early, is that a compliment or no? Uh, so, um, I've been a nurse for 7 years. I worked in long-term care for 6.5 of those years, and then I switched over to a hospital setting, uh, uh, 6 months ago. So, orientation in the firstly orientation in like long-term care, that was really short. I got about a week of orientation and that was it. And then I was a charge nurse. I was on the floor. I was in charge of the unit. In the hospital, it's a lot different. I know you usually orientation is about 3 months, like 12 weeks to 16 weeks on average, and then depending on if you get into like a program or something, sometimes it can even go for a whole year. So the job that I got into, the orientation was for 16 weeks. Um, so yeah, four good months of learning, because and I was in the ICU, so it was really intense, and we really, you need the training, especially with me coming from long-term care. It was totally different going into the ICU, the type of things I would have to do. So I did need that time. So I did about 11 weeks, and then I was offered, well, I wasn't offered to get off of orientation. I was just kind of told that I was off. I had showed up to work ready to, I was supposed to be on a different unit with another preceptor, and my charge nurse from my main floor came and got me and said, hey, our manager called and said that you are off orientation, and here you go, here's your patients. So I was shocked. We were really short that day, and my manager felt that I could handle it, being off, probably because I had already had like 6.5 years experience of long-term care. But again, like I said, long-term care is totally different than working in a hospital, in a lot of ways. So so I didn't really feel like I had an option to refuse, and so I accepted it, and did that. I did it that shift. I felt nervous in the beginning, but I had excellent preceptors those past 11 weeks, and so I felt pretty confident. And then I did have my charge nurse there ready to help if I needed it. So I went ahead and did the shift, and the shift, it was a little bumpy in the middle there, and then it got really good. And after that day, I felt, because in the ICU, it actually went really hectic, and so I handled it well, and so it made me confident that, okay, well, maybe I am, maybe I can get off early. My manager asked me, if I felt I was ready to just stay off, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just stay off. So I did get off orientation a month early. So the first thing, do I consider that a compliment that my manager felt like I was ready? Yes and no. Yes, because if they feel like, yeah, you learned all that you need to know, you're doing good. I mean, who wouldn't take that as a compliment? That, okay, you're telling me that I wouldn't be grossly negligent. But on the other side, no, I did not consider it a compliment. More than anything, I kind of considered it manipulation, because nursing can be pretty competitive, and just how we feel like on an NCLEX, like when we passed with 75 questions, you kind of feel a little bit better than that person who had to do like the whole 250, who had to answer all those questions. I think that's kind of how it can be too, during orientation, like, oh, I got off a month early, I didn't need that extra month. But I still consider that kind of manipulation. You know, like they know that you want the compliment. You know, it's kind of seen as a big deal if you're able to get out orientation early, and so they know more than likely you're gonna go ahead and accept it. Um, so yeah, I kind of felt like that. And then, as I've said before in other videos, hospitals, this is a business. It's all about money. And so when you are an orientee, you are invisible, like on the schedule, pretty much like you're a ghost. They're because like your preceptor is that main nurse, and you're just kind of like a shadow of them, but that like they're paying you, you know, as though you're a full-fledged working nurse, you know, so they're paying like double, you know, double money pretty much for like one nurse. So if they can get you to not be an orientee anymore and to have your own patient load, and you know, that's what they want. So it's a business. So yeah, for me, I didn't really see it as a compliment. It was more like manipulation, I felt like. The other thing is, should you get off orientation early? And again, that just goes back to you knowing who you are and swallowing your pride. If you truly feel that you are not ready, do not do it, because that hospital or whoever, you know, that facility, whoever hired you, they made an agreement that they were willing to train you for this set amount of time, and that is owed to you. That's, you agreed to that in order to take that position, so they owe you that. So don't feel pressured to get off orientation early, you know, for what people are going to think, you know. If you need your full orientation, you need to take your full orientation. I actually feel like it should be like mandatory that people have to do their full orientation, you know, because I think it just puts pressure on people to get off early when they're offered. Because we have to remember, we did all this work to get this nursing license. We went to school, we passed those tests in school, wrote all those papers, exams, care plans. We did all those clinicals. We sacrificed 2 to 4 years of our life. And then we also had to pass our state boards, you know, and get hired into that job, you know. So you did all that work, you earned that license, and don't let anything jeopardize that. So when you tell, you know, if they offer you, you want to get off orientation, and you say yes, now, all those patients, their health, their lives, they're in your hands. And so if something happens, where you make a nursing error, or you make a mistake because you wasn't properly trained in that area, or you didn't know what to do in that circumstance, the responsibility and liability falls on you. The hospital will definitely point the blame on you. So again, just be careful with that. Be mindful. Again, if you feel like really confident, like, oh, I got this, it's cool, do that. But if not, don't. Definitely do not get off orientation early if you are not ready. So I hope that this helps anyone out there. Let me know, did you guys get off orientation early, and how did it go? All right, thanks guys. Bye.